See?
Okay, we are now in San Francisco. There's Alcatraz. Golden Gate Bridge is over yonder somewhere. This is not the Golden Gate Bridge.
Park.
AT&T Park? I don't even know what that is.
San Francisco Giants, baby. Randy Johnson.
So this is the big city. I think that's like the Fisherman's Wharf over there. Golden Gate Park coming up.
Chinatown, Fisherman's Wharf. Golden Gate.
Yep, next right. That's the one we want. And Elizabeth is sleeping. Hopefully she'll wake up for the rest of the day. So this is part of the Golden Gate Park. Very pretty flowers. Pretty neat building. The Japanese tea gardens. Really neat trees here. And architecture. Okay, so this is the Japanese tea gardens. It's Ellie and Daddy. More of the Japanese tea garden.
Moment ago, we have a little rule here about the topography, and that is anything that is not a hill is landfill. So 95% of everything flat that we travel on today is landfill. And they got that landfill from two different times in history, and they're kind of two defining moments in San Francisco's history. One was the 1849 gold rush. The other was the 1906 earthquake. Well, between 1849 and 1852, when the word got out they found gold up in the Sierra Nevadas, hundreds of ships poured into the bay here. And this entire area, the Fisherman's Wharf area, as well as in the downtown area, both these areas used to be the waterfront. And right around 1850, they looked like a virtual forest of ships. Hundreds and hundreds of ships that were abandoned by their crews that headed up into the hills to go try to find gold. Well, they ended up using those old abandoned ships as landfill. But where we got most of our landfill from was in the 1906 earthquake. And before I get into that, I like to point out stuff when it's right in front of us. And that would be these restaurants over here on the right. From the Fisherman's Grotto down to Gardino's, all of those restaurants have storefront displays where you can get a little seafood to go. You can get like a shrimp cocktail, a crab cocktail, a clam chowder bowl, some fried seafood, for like $5 to $6 a piece. And not only is it the least expensive, but it's also amongst the best impressions. It's called Fish Alley. Jumped in, gave him a hand, and they whisked it up the hill, and they saved the house that day. Ever since that day, Lily became like a mascot to the number 5. She even embroidered the number 5 in all her sweaters, jackets, and blouses. And before she died, they made her an honorary fireman. And when she died, she left a third of her estate, $150,000, $50 grand to build that solid bronze statue that we saw, and $100,000 to erect Coy Tower in their honor. A lot of people say, since it was dedicated to the firemen, that kind of looks like the old brass nozzles on the old school fire hoses, but truth be told, it's fluted at the top, so it does not look top heavy. And they look kind of cool. You also see wild parrots up there at the big bridge there. You can see Mount Diablo, which is about 43 miles away. It's one of the 3 tallest mountain ranges here in the Bay Area. Mount Diablo, Mount Tam, Mount Hamilton. The Bay Bridge there is a little bit older than the Golden Gate Bridge. It was built in November of 1936, opened in November of 1936 versus May of 1937 for the Golden Gate. So it's 6 months older, but it just doesn't get the love that the Golden Gate does. You know, it doesn't have a cool name or a cool color. That's amazing in and of itself. That's the only time that bridge flexors swing that much. Now, you may have always heard that rumor that they start painting on one side, and then when they get done, they start painting all over again. Well, that's bogus. You'll see there's some gray primer up there on the deck infrastructure, and there at the bottom, underneath the deck, down the middle of the bridge there, you'll see some primer at the bottom there. So they do skip around. It does take them about 4 years to paint it. There's a crew of 55 guys that work on it full-time, 38 painters, 17 iron workers. This is where Kim Novak jumped in the water. In 12 hours, that's how fast that oil moved all the way from the
There's the Golden Gate Bridge again. There we go.
the right side of Alcatraz, you'll see the lighthouse. Right below the lighthouse, there's a little line coming up the back. Clock tower. The big white building, the flat white building is the Main Street.
Rest of San Francisco.